we're live.
We are live.
What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, man? So this is the second iteration of All of My Friends Are Grown-Ups. It is unscripted. It is unfiltered. It is
Uncut.
very uncut.
Plenty of dick cheese.
Plenty. Lots of it. Plenty to go around. So we have no idea where we're going to go with this podcast, so we're just going to start right out with it. So what the hell's going on?
No, I'm pretty fucked up.
You're... I mean...
Yeah, those double shots really are really fucking...
They work. They work.
Oh, yeah. These combos are delicious.
Combos right now. This is some serious gourmet shit.
It's better than Cracker Barrel.
Don't even joke about that. I don't want to get fired yet. not yet.
I dare them to.
Yeah,
They can use all the bodies they can get.
they can't. Oh my god. Anyway, oh goddamn. So what did I say we're going to talk about today? Oh, I said. There's something I said at the bar. I don't think we should start out with that. Let's go with a lighter subject. Let's go with the AEW and WWE. We'll start right out with wrestling since it's a little lighter. We can.
Yeah, we were in it.
We can gather ourselves.
So we know like a little bit what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. So
all those stolen sources.
The stolen sources we saw that I'm actually wearing these. This is going to be a thing now.
Go for it.
We're just going to be a thing. It makes me look like a douchebag. If not, that's perfect timing. It's going to make me look like a douchebag, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I hope we don't get copyright for that.
Probably not.
I hope Nick Kroll doesn't come and sue me for all my...
That's where that was?
All my change.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because all I have is this all I got.
So, we're gonna go right into that. So, I was saying before, dude, the injuries that have been happening this week have sucked.
All right.
Like, you have CM Punk right after he wins AEW. And I asked you last podcast that we had, are we going to see another summer of Punk? And I guess that shit's not happening.
No. What do you do? I don't even know what happened.
It's something with his leg. I think he did it when he did the buckshot lariat. He tried to do that at the pay-per-view because it looked like he was like kind of limping after that.
Yeah.
I was trying to find out where he did it. And it looked like it was right after that buckshot lariat. And he tried to hit that shit, and he did, but I think he fucked his leg. I don't know if he tore...
Yeah.
He tore something in his leg or his ankle. It looked like his calf area, something. But they haven't released anything because he needs surgery. They said he needs surgery.
Yeah, he must have done something. It must be some kind of tear or some shit.
Yeah, and
So
they're
it
not
requires surgery. Yeah.
right, and they're not. Which they didn't know what they were doing on AEW either, because like they started out by saying stuff like, they're gonna vacate the title.
Right.
And then they went on to, oh no, we're not going to vacate the title. It's going to be a tournament for an interim champion. And then the interim champion is going to face Punk when he comes back. So they're going to have a champion versus champion match, it seems like. Punk versus whoever.
That's actually kind of a smart move.
Which it is, because they only really defend the titles at pay-per-views. Which, if you notice, like, a lot of the time, that's really, and there's only pay-per-view every couple months with AEW. It's not like WWE where there's like every fucking 2 weeks there's a pay-per-view. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't have to vacate the title. So if the surgery that he's having is only going to have him out for a few months,
Right.
you don't really have to vacate the title technically. So it's kind of good for Punk. It doesn't have him lose the steam if he's going to come back and defend it.
But it gives some younger talent, or favorite talent.
That's what I
access.
hope. They're either gonna have, my opinion, they're gonna either have like somebody like Moxley win it because he's in that tournament.
That'd be good.
I thought they were gonna do Danielson versus Punk,
but he
got hurt too.
Yeah, when his foot got caught in that fucking
tournament that he was doing. So I don't think they're gonna do that because he's fucked now.
Yeah.
So. They're either going to do Moxley, which would be your favorite talent, your like high popularity, which I would love to see that match again.
Right.
The last time I think we saw that was when Punk went against Ambrose when he was with the Shield back in like fucking 15 or 16.
So great match.
It wasn't even 16. He was gone by 14, so it was back in 2014 because Punk was the last time he wrestled. It was like late 2014 because he left.
Really?
Yeah, it was. That's what I mean. He's been out since 2014.
Damn.
So, like, seeing that match now would be phenomenal.
It would be nice, yeah.
But if they didn't do that, they'd have to. I'd say they go with an up-and-coming talent. But who do they have in that tournament besides him? Because I know they had him and they had Danielson. They have a couple other people, but I don't know who the younger up-and-coming talent is right now in that.
Not a whole lot. Right now, it's mostly the old WW guys. We got Adam Cole, but no, he's in the Owen Hart thing.
He's doing the Owen Hart thing. Yeah.
So
it would have to be Moxley.
could be.
And it's been a while since he's touched the title, so.
That's true. He's due for a title shot.
I mean, yeah, because he went all over the place, and then he went out because he was with the. I guess he was. What was that, like alcohol? He had like alcohol problem with that, and then he came back.
No, he's better than ever. He looks good too.
He does look good. He's ripped. He's jacked. He's into it. You can tell he's in a better plate. Like, it's weird to say with like certain wrestlers that you see come back from shit like that.
Yeah, they look physically, mentally.
They look physically better, mentally. Yeah, like they're more. You can see they're having more fun with shit.
Yeah, because the road for professional wrestlers, it's a tough road.
Yeah,
because you're not only working like one fucking day a week like people they see on TV.
Yeah, no.
You're doing multiple dates.
It's only televised twice a week, but you see it. They work.
Yeah, they do house shows,
6 days a week,
meet and greets. God knows what else. You know what I mean?
Airport to airport to airport, just going right to the gym from that.
Yeah,
like,
you live in hotels.
Yeah, and that's why I always told you, like, I didn't think I ever had a like, that's the one dream job that I always had.
Same.
But I always had the doubt creeping in my mind, like, could I handle that kind of lifestyle?
Yeah.
Like going literally from show to airport to like just the gym. You hear about just go to the gym all the time, just consistently going.
Yeah.
Never being home.
Yeah. Yeah. Leaving, driving to the next town.
Yeah, you're just always going, man.
Right.
And it's like, I don't think a lot of people that, if you talk to a random stranger on the street about professional wrestling and you start talking to them and you just throw in, like, the one thing you get is like, you get a lot is like, that shit's fake, right? You know what I mean? It's not real fighting. And I'm like,
no shit.
I know they're not actually UFC and they're not punching each other in the face.
Yeah, right.
I said, but do you realize what goes into that show that they're putting on for you every week?
Right.
It's like
the production level.
You talk about like they're not a professional fighter, but they put more time in than a professional fighter does a lot of the time.
Yeah, they have to maintain the body image.
Right, and then there's a character they have to build, and like that's why I think Undertaker will always be the GOAT with that, because he maintained.
He became he
lived his persona.
Yeah.
He did for years.
Yeah.
Until he retired, he lived that for years. Like the last year of his career.
And did gorgeously.
And it was fantastic. And it was just like
the
kind of dedication to have a 30-year career in a kayfabe business.
30,
you know what I mean?
30 plus.
Yeah.
Because you can't remember his old WCW runs and.
Right.
What was he in?
Once Vince signed him, though, he was ride or die with Vince.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because he talk about that story now when he started doing podcasts and stuff. It was always Vince is the one that gave him the shot. You know what I mean? Vince, like WCW, after having a run with him, thought that he would go nowhere. Mm-hmm. He was too big of it. He was moving to like he would never go anywhere. He wasn't like he wouldn't sell tickets. And WWE or F at the time gave him that shot, and that's where he stayed.
And Vince had that character. Sorry, Vince already had that character ready to go. They were just looking for the right guy, and Mark Calloway was the man for the Undertaker.
Right, and he from then on, like I said, you don't maintain that character and that high level main event status. Right. Nobody else has for that long.
No, not with like the injuries and his age and that pace that he takes.
Right.
And then still remain relevant through the generations.
Right. Yeah, that's fucking incredible. He is. That's why I think everyone talks about the Mount Rushmore WWE. Some people throw in Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, all these other people, and I'm like, I don't care who you throw in, but Taker is there.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
he's there. He has to be there. There's no way he's not. Because, Taker went on when he started doing all these podcasts and other public appearances, because he didn't do it for so long because he wanted to keep his mystique of his character.
The kayfabe, yeah.
And he started doing it, and he went on that Kevin Hart thing. What was it called? What's it called? Cold as something? Is it Cold as Balls? It might be Cold as Balls. It might be what it's called.
Does Kevin Owens have a podcast? Or
No. Kevin Hart. The fucking comedian.
Oh yeah, I watched that. That was
and they sit in the ice.
He came up out of it.
He came up out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually fucking hilarious because all the dudes came out like really bad druids.
Oh my god, that was hilarious though.
And he's like, "What the fuck?"
Kevin
you
Hart's
guys
like,
doing?
"What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah, it was hilarious though.
Right.
But the fuck was I going with that point now? I was trying to get Kevin Hart into it because there's a story he told. Oh god damn it. Oh no, that sucks. I'm not gonna remember that now.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a minute.
I was going somewhere with kayfabe that he talked about on the pod or on that show. I don't remember now where I was going with that, but anyway, yeah, he kept up that mystique better than anybody. So, that's what I was saying. The Mount Rushmore with him.
Yeah.
He gave the Mount Rushmore, and he gave like obviously he's not going to give himself, although he deserves it.
Absolutely.
He gave like Stone Cold. He didn't say Hulk Hogan. He said The Rock, Stone Cold. Oh God.
Sean.
He said Sean, and then he said Andre.
Right.
That was his Mount Rushmore. And I was like, honestly, I can get behind that. Because as much as Hulk Hogan did for the industry...
Yeah. He did some slimy
I
shit,
don't
though.
think that... Yeah, and I think that kind of tarnished a lot of it.
Like, the more I learned about, like, history of Hulk Hogan, like, the less of a fan I became of him personally. But
Right.
but that's, like, Terry, whoever the fuck is up. But, like,
Terry, I don't know his last name.
As Hulk Hogan still, like, when I first watching wrestling, like, that was my guy.
Right.
Until about 1990, and then that man walked in, and I was like, oh, that's my man.
Yeah.
Like, that's my hero. Like,
Yeah.
I still get chills watching old DVDs.
I know. Isn't that crazy as shit?
Like, I still get excited. Like, I watched that match 100 times. Like, I knew exactly what's going to happen. Like,
He knew how to
for a big-
mystify a crowd. Like, just get you completely into it by the time he entered the ring.
Yeah, like, I
Like,
already
you
knew.
didn't even have to, you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I already knew the moveset, like, is already. I
You
knew
knew what he was gonna
exactly
do.
what he's going to do. But, like,
yep.
I never paused the fucking. Like, I was always, like, sucked right in.
And that was a different time in wrestling, and that's why I think even when he was giving his advice, he would give his advice to wrestlers and stuff. He would say that. Like, as much as I love people like Ricochet, and I love all the people that will dazzle you with, like, moves
Yeah.
that you're like, holy shit. You know, you
Right.
watch them.
It
But
gets-
he said, but it's not, they invest in the character. Like, that's why Wyatt was so successful when he came back with that new character. They, like, yeah, he did some crazy stuff, but, like, you were invested in, like, oh my god, the character that he was. You know what I mean?
it's
And you don't see
mind-blowing.
that. You don't see that.
It was the same moves. Besides,
Yeah.
they added the mandible claw.
Yeah.
I don't
It's not how crazy the moves are. It's that when you have a comeback moment or in the ring when they're invested in a match and they see that move that's hit, the crowd just gets into it immediately because they're like, oh, shit,
Yeah.
he's hitting that move. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they know it.
they know
you
it.
feel it, and you feel the electricity.
like in
and
Taker's jumping lariat, his clothesline, they bounce off the ropes.
He does
You're
it.
like,
He does it a
whoa.
million times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, yeah, when he gets it.
It's because they're invested. They've seen it a thousand times before, but they know like what's starting to come out. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
right.
how flashy the move is.
No,
You know, it's just it's the character you're invested in. You know what the character does, and the character's doing it, and you're like, dude, like, yeah, he would every time. Like you said with Wyatt with the mandible claw.
Yeah,
It's the least flashiest move you can do.
exactly.
But it's like,
but it's effective, and it was perfect for the character.
and you see the character, and you see this guy that calls himself the Fiend, and he looks like, you know, he looks like literally like a demon and shit, and he's sticking his fingers down your throat. You know what I mean? You're like,
it's terrifying.
Jesus, you know, like it's
Yeah.
just it buys you into it. And when people always throw it at me, like I've had it thrown at me a bunch of times, like, you know, it's not real. You know, it's like, I'm like, yeah, I know it's not real. And then they'll go into like my comeback to them is always like, bro, you watch TV,
Right.
you watch. You think all the movies you watch are real? Like, no. I was like, well, then what? I'm just watching a live movie. I'm watching a live. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's a performance. It's probably even more professive than fucking like when you think about it. It's more impressive than watching a movie because the
Right.
movies they have takes and they
Yeah.
have all this shit. You're watching a live
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
and
like-
that's beautiful because when things go wrong, it's like, especially if you watch it,
They got call an audible.
You can feel it, even if they cover it real good. Like, oh, I think I caught that.
Yeah.
you catch every
Yeah.
I catch every single block, just about every single botch.
Right. And
That's
but
beautiful.
then they got to think on their feet and call an audible. And then what you don't think about when you're first watching wrestling is like everyone is a performer. Like the ref's a performer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody is just like in on it. So when there's a big botch or something, or somebody gets injured, it's all of a sudden, you know, it turns into like you got to think on your feet because you got a show to run. You got to you have a time limit. You got an end mark to hit.
Right.
And then
yeah, exactly. It's like almost like when Finn Balor I watched him one match. I can't remember who he was fighting. He dislocated his fucking shoulder.
Right.
He's sitting on a guardrail.
Oh, that was fucking.
Pops the shoulder right back in.
That was Rollins at SummerSlam. A couple years back.
That makes sense. Yeah, didn't he?
Because he did the fucking buckle bomb.
Again, yeah.
And he hit the barricade and he was like, he just popped it back
Yeah,
in.
he just
pushed
it back in. It's like a finish match.
I saw him do that live and I was like, oh, he's fucked. I saw it and I was like, no.
Like that's how, and he just like, all right, and shake it off and then go back around.
And then he won the title and I was like, maybe he's not that injured. And then like the next night,
it was just a dislocation. Pop back in.
Yeah, and then the next night they were like, oh, he had to relinquish the title, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was the first Universal title match when they first brought the Universal.
They were the two. And they brought Balor up from NXT.
I'm sorry, the titles are ugly.
The what?
The titles are ugly.
Which ones?
The Universal titles.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I think they're big, bulky, and dumb. Like especially when they do.
I just like when they had the WWE and the World Heavyweight. They had the old like when The Rock came back and he won it from Punk, even though I didn't want him to win it from Punk. I was on that side of the fence where I was like, don't end the reign with The Rock, and I was like, fuck, they ended it with The Rock, and then The Rock took away the spinner belt and made it the new WWE logo. I liked that black belt, that was good, but then they made it like blue and red, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it didn't work out for me.
I was like, just keep the WWE and the World Heavyweight. Like that was just you could have kept it that way. You didn't have to change it.
Yeah, I understand you have to change with the times, but.
I didn't like that.
No, I didn't
when they made it red, I was like, yeah, it's not too bad. And then they made it blue, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a fan. But
if they're
then now it's just the Universal and the WWE now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the redesigns, but in general,
yeah, they grew on me.
But I was also tired of the spinner belt.
Yeah, well, they eventually runs their.
You think about that, but Cena came up with that in 2006, and then then it was what 2014.
Yeah, every belt was a spinner belt.
It's like 8 years of the spinner belt. Like Jesus Christ, that tells you how often Cena held the belt in 8 years. The majority of the time, obviously.
Right. He might be due for a comeback. I don't think he's got anything going on lately.
I don't know. He might be done. I'm done, but like.
Nah.
I don't think he's gonna beat Flair's record.
Vince owns John Cena.
Oh yeah.
Like I like as much as I shit on John Cena for being a fan favorite, because that's just what I do. Like respectful, obviously respectful.
Oh yeah.
Every single person that puts on a pair of boots.
I'm not a John Cena fan, but I respect everything he fucking did for that place, though.
He fucking he sells tickets, and that's what all that matters.
It sells tickets. It brings people. Yeah, it puts asses in seats.
Kids love it. That's fine. I'm happy. Like as long as and he always does.
Imagine how many.
He always puts 120% in, and you can't.
You know how much draw that one match got alone for doing Undertaker versus Cena a few years back.
Yeah, and it was only like fucking 6 minutes.
And it was a squash match. Taker fucking killed him. Like that was.
Yeah, and he looked great.
That was like honestly, that was a match I was dying to see. But then when he squashed him, I was like, really? It was that quick? But I was like. That was like the result that I wanted, though. I just didn't think I was gonna get. You know what I mean? Taker squashing Cena.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be something.
I thought it was gonna be a back and forth, a pretty good match, and I was like, nope, that was just a squash.
I like Cena being in the thing. Just like it was hard to like, oh, is he really like going? Whoa, was that crazy?
But Taker, I think, still felt like he needed to redeem himself. Yeah. I'm guessing 100% that you watched the Last Ride documentary.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was fantastic.
Right, and then I watched a lot of like any interview that came out with the Dead Man. Like I found it, I was on it. Even the one he was on the Christian channel.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay.
He was on spicy fucking hot ones with the wings.
Yeah,
and everything.
I don't think I actually.
That was good. That was good too.
That might be the only one I haven't watched.
But yeah, no, that match with Cena was like.
It looked good. It looked really good.
That's what I mean. I think because he was saying about how. From WrestleMania 30, when he didn't perform like he wanted to against Lesnar, because he got concussed, and he looked out of shape for that match. Like,
when you only come back 1 year, you don't like.
And that was his gap year from like Punk to like Lesnar was like that was not the year to you know what I mean to like kind of like you come back once a year.
No, I still don't think the streak should have ended. I think they should have just let him ride off in the sunset and just leave it undefeated. But
yeah, I agree because I've been so like back and forth on the fence about that because I'm like I looked at it and I was like, at the time, they had a few faces and they had a few heels, but none of them. Like Reigns was the guy they were trying to push at that time simultaneously.
If anybody needed that push to beat the Dead Man in the streak, was Roman Reigns.
And they did it, but they did it years later when he already had a loss.
Yeah,
because Reigns was the second person to beat him at Mania.
Yeah, and that's not the
only loss.
Like, once someone beats you, like that's not.
But then naturally, you know, the next year they did Reigns versus Lesnar number 5, and it was like, you know what I mean? It was like,
it's like, oh yeah,
they both beat Undertaker now. You're like, all right, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's more believable with Lesnar because Lesnar, it
is definitely
even
more
at this
believable.
time, he's still a fucking monster.
Oh my god, that's what I said at the time. Who else would have beat him?
Exactly.
Like there's no one else that would.
You had nobody at that
believable
anywhere near that level.
Dude, he went through and he beat everybody. He killed Triple H. He squashed John Cena in SummerSlam. That was where Suplex City was born. You know what I mean? He yelled in the camera, "Suplex City, bitch!" You know what I mean? That was where it was born, and it was like, there's nobody else.
It's fun watching people bitch. Like all he does is like suplex. Like so what? John Cena does 5 fucking moves too. Like it's Brock Lesnar. His job is to come in, beat the shit out of you, and then move on. That's it. Like you're just a snack to him during the match at that point. Mm-hmm. And it's nice seeing Brock Lesnar have a mic and actually look like he's actually really having fun. Like he looked like he was really enjoying himself, and that he had like free reign.
Yeah, seeing him as a face this past couple months to a year was like weird but refreshing.
Yeah, and he still was Brock Lesnar, especially what he did to poor Sami Zayn.
It was like, oh my god,
that poor man.
God bless him. That man is one of the most underrated talents on that roster.
Yeah, oh definitely. It took me a long time to get accustomed to Sami Zayn. I was like, this guy's a fucking geek, bro. Like what?
I loved him from the start.
But the more I watch his matches, and like the more I watch Raw, like wow, like this guy's like he's way more than what I thought it was, and I accept that.
Like I'm not gonna lie to you, I got into the independent scene after NXT really started.
Yeah.
Because I started looking at like all these people that are coming from like independent scenes, so I started looking at that scene and people that were coming from it, and then I started predicting like oh shit, they're gonna find like Austin Aries is gonna show up and like. Like Shinsuke's got to come up, you know what I mean? Like all these people they're gonna come to NXT at some point.
I like shit.
And then they started getting it, but I started watching Sami Zayn right from the get go of NXT because he was like one of the first big NXT stars. And then when Owens came in and beat him for the title in their first match together, and then was like, he like turned on him after the match and like smashed his head and they power bombed him on the apron and shit. Like, I was like, oh, this fucking Owens guy's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, NXT, when it first started out, man, was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was better than the main product, the main show.
Yeah.
For a while.
Especially with Triple H having full reigns. He gave those guys... It was such a better... I understand it was fresh. It was a little more attitude.
Yeah.
But, like... way it ran, like I understand you have to change and mix it up.
Yeah.
Like I don't like change. I like doing it in NXT, but you have to change.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have to keep it fresh, and if it's something starts to get overexposed or starts getting boring to a lot of viewers, you got to keep it fresh, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I think NXT, especially with shit like Owens doing that. You know, the storylines got so personal, which they didn't tend to on TV a lot.
Yeah.
I think the Attitude Era made a lot of it was like they were all personal storylines. Like, there were titles there, but they were all personal storylines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even when you're going to The Rock and Stone Cold, it was like they had a rivalry, but it was like personal. All the feuds got in depth with the storytelling.
Right.
Like, today, it's like, oh, there's so many pay-per-views with WWE. Like, I'm not knocking them today. Right. But I think what makes it so much different, what made the Attitude Era glow, was that you went from personal storyline to personal storyline, and then so often I noticed, even backstage, you would see storylines overlap when like they wouldn't even like need to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the tag team feud would kind of overlap with the main feud, and then you'd be like, oh, what the fuck is happening? You know what I mean? Like backstage with segments and stuff, and then they get pissed, and you're like, this is like great storytelling. It's like everything's intermingled.
Right.
But now you're like, so often they're clean cut storylines. They're in a feud,
Yeah,
and
I like to
then
see
they go
him
to pay per view.
finish a storyline without cutting it short. It's
Yeah.
like 2 weeks. It's like okay, well, like when you start, like after like the first couple weeks, you're like, you slowly start getting invested in it, and the second you feel like you're invested in it, you don't fucking hear from it anymore.
Yeah, I get you.
Like it's like getting ghosted by a chick you met at the bar.
Yeah, like you think you're like, oh, okay, well he won round one. There's clearly going to be like a feud or like a back and forth match or whatever's going to happen, and then you're like, that was a good match, first match, and then it just stops, and you're like,
right. I miss random matches.
Yeah.
Like
what they never stop though, which I kind of get mad at, having the 6-man tag matches every other Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
They kind of do that a lot, and you know what I mean. And it's a way.
It's always the same goddamn.
And you have like one guy come out, second guy come out, and then you have like 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the manager, which is what the fuck's his name now?
For which?
Not Sonya Deville, the other bald guy that comes out. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Why do I not know his name? I should know his name.
He used to be a wrestler too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow.
I can't remember his name either, but you know who I'm referencing. You guys, if you're you know who I'm referencing on Monday Night. You see him every week.
Yeah, too many fucking.
On Monday Night Raw. Pierce? Adam Pierce.
Yeah, that's it.
Adam Pierce.
I'm terrible with names.
So am I. That's why I'm and be a teacher.
So
So I'll be teaching your children if you live in the area.
yeah. Don't worry, I'll make pancakes for you when you come. When you come to the fucking barrel.
Adam Pierce comes out every week, and then you get the 6 guys, and then you're like, we're going to solve this with a 6-man tag match. And I'm like, all right, there's going to be a lot of spots. It's going to get hectic in the end. It's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
But you're overdoing it. Like, they do that a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you always do the 6-man tag. Like, which makes me, like, that's the biggest difference between, again, not knocking WWE, because I still watch both. But when you watch AEW, it reminds me more of Attitude Era, too. Because it's
it's still fresh.
It's still fresh,
and there's always there's new faces,
and they can say a lot more crap on air than they can in WWE. So they get away with a lot more shit.
Yeah, well, they have less stock brokers.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Once they start getting more successful, we'll see how they handle that.
Exactly. Yes, because TNA eventually they're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah, eventually.
TNA lets little things slide, but when you still got multiple TV companies
sources counting on you to produce. Yeah,
exactly. They're not. You still the rope gets tighter and tighter.
But it makes for more prominent television when you can say ass all the time or bitch instead of just PG insults. You know what I mean? It seems like the demographic is larger with the
so you have more
teenager to young adult audience. You know what I mean?
And WWE obviously caters to more of the younger.
It does now.
Which I don't mind, because the younger, there's like 6 to like 10-year-old wrestling fans. Like they're the ones that make it. Like they're future wrestling fans.
Right. So
like,
you got to cater to. I get that. Yeah,
right?
you got to cater.
Like they're gonna root your John Cena's and your Bailey's before.
They're gonna root for your like clean baby faces that are.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, 100%. Which I get. That's why I said I watch both, and we both watch both. So it's like. I'm not hating on either one, but that's why AEW reminds me more, because I feel like their creative process is more.
Yeah, they're still feeling themselves
out. It's more into it with what the wrestlers that are up and coming would like to shape their characters as and what they want to do.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning point.
It's more freedom, from everything I've heard. It's more freedom at AEW to kind of develop your shit.
Yeah, and that only benefits further promotions. Like even WWE, like. Yeah, they didn't do well in WWE, and they went to AEW or New Japan or this one and that one.
Right.
And they develop more company, and they come back even better.
Yeah, and that's been the story with a bunch of them now.
Yeah, every single pro wrestler.
Yeah, everybody that comes back to WWE, comes back.
Yeah, they come back with
more experience. They come back like, oh my god.
Yeah, they come more experience.
They know who they are as their character. They know what they're shooting for.
Look at Drew McIntyre.
That's what I was thinking.
He was like the chosen one. Which
I kind of
dig, but he looked young. He was 20.
He looked young. He looked like he didn't know where he was.
He came back. He looked like a fucking man.
Yeah, dude. He
looks bigger, stronger, just way
faster,
more aggressive.
Meaner. He's chiseled out of stone.
Right.
My God, that man. Like if you watch, like from the before and after, like first run, second run, he doesn't look like the same person.
Exactly.
His body's just chiseled. I'm like, he honed himself.
He looked he looked bigger, and he honed his skill.
Came back with the whole Irish persona with everything. Like,
Well, yeah, we still had
the music,
the Scottish.
you know what I
It
mean?
was
Scottish. Yeah, sorry, yeah, Scottish. He's gonna kill me now.
You get a claymore. You're gonna.
I'll take a claymore.
You'll offend the Irish more.
I will take the claymore from Drew McIntyre. That will spike our subscribers up. Holy shit!
Not even. It'll just give me a half a chub to get in a ring with him.
Right? Yeah, it would just give me that. I'll take it for whatever any subscribers, man. Just if you show up my doorstep, I'm gonna lose my shit. Wow. But yeah, no, Scottish. Sorry. Yeah, but his whole persona like was shaped. You know what I mean? Like, 100%. It was a much clearer direction. He had confidence. He had like everything behind him.
Right.
And that showed the world of difference. You know, they gave him the title.
Yeah.
He was the guy that they chose to go up against Lesnar and literally eliminate him out of that Rumble when that year he was unstoppable, and then face him at Mania. And
well, no thanks to help the Ricochet for the quick low blow.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
He paid for it the following.
Yeah, didn't he like lose in like 10
He
seconds?
beat the Lesnar, tossed that horrible guy around.
Yeah.
And I like Ricochet, even when I don't know if you know.
I love Ricocket. Did you ever watch fucking Jericho's podcast?
No.
He called them because like this was when Moxley came out and gave the whole podcast about how like Moxley wearing the whole like the like chemical mask was like good shit and all that.
Yeah.
And he was like Jericho started calling like all these guys like the wrong names, like and then they got Ricocket doing this stuff like Ricochet. You know, whose thought was it to come out and have the bullet effect sound?
I like it.
Happen with him, and I was like, I didn't mind that, but he started like joking around about we're gonna call you Ricocket now and like do all this stupid crap. It's like
I really like it, Ricochet, and I think they should push him. He's entertaining to watch.
He would be like the next Mysterio. Like he can be a world champion. Like I can see that. Like Ricochet.
Yeah, they just give him a chance because I watched him.
He's never been on the mic though. That's the only thing.
No, if they gave him a mouthpiece or put him in a stable, he could do good. Because I've been watching him since he was Prince Puma in Luchador Underground. Yeah. I didn't realize who that was until he came to WWE, and I noticed the tats and a lot of the moves. Like, motherfucker, this guy was in Lucha Underground, and I watched him do matches against guys like Pinta and freaking Rey Mysterio, and they were John
out of this world kind of matches.
What was that? What was he called? Johnny Mungo or whatever John Morris's name was.
I forget. I know what you're talking about. But yeah,
like
it's something weird. Yeah,
and it was fucking phenomenal. Because he was teamed up with Conan. Remember Conan?
Oh yeah, yep.
He didn't say anything, but he had Conan saying the words talking for him, and it was just fucking phenomenal matches. Like I was excited through the whole match.
That's a talent.
He's so agile and
just like Lesnar. It's a completely different arena, but it's the same thing as Lesnar. When you have a talent that can captivate, like Ricochet captivates because his moves that he does are just like, oh my god,
just
how do you even do that?
Yeah,
crap? Effortlessly doing like, in like, not even 360s. Like you're doing like, you know what I mean, like 480s, and you know what I mean, doing all loops and like shit, and he just corkscrew and like you do effortlessly.
Just effortlessly doing corkscrews over the walking.
So when you can captivate with just your moveset, which is what Lesnar does, but he's a beast.
Yep.
He'll just manhandle anybody.
Right.
You give that kind of talent a mouthpiece, no matter what setting you put them in, it's going to sell. Right. It doesn't matter.
That's why I enjoyed him when he played. They tagged him up with Alistair, Malachi Black or Alistair Black. But he's like it was a mixed shape pattern. It was a mixed shape, but it still got him TV time.
It worked,
and I still really enjoyed watching them, even as a tag team. They were kicking shit out of people.
God, yeah.
They even they were in a couple title matches too.
They were. Yeah, it was phenomenal. Like that I didn't see that coming, but they were the two call-ups from NXT.
Yeah.
And that was the last SmackDown I went to because they were still doing that. Yeah. I remember.
They just threw them together, but
they threw them together, and I was like, oh,
maybe we could have something here.
Yeah.
Like how many times have
but then they just dropped it.
Yeah, two opposite types of people.
Yeah,
just make a really good team, and they're both equal. Like they're both talented in their own way.
Right.
Especially look what fucking Malachi Black's doing over in AEW.
Oh my god, I love it. Like I'm always drawn to the dark characters. This is why I love Taker. It's why I loved Wyatt for so many years. And when he did the Fiend thing, I lost my shit when I saw the SummerSlam entrance with the Fiend. Like, it was
Yeah,
all
I haven't had
phenomenal.
goosebumps like since the Dead Man.
Yeah.
Since the Dead Man was regular.
Yeah, and then you watch that entrance and you're like, holy
Like,
shit.
yeah, you're like fucking egg.
Like, they have money here with this persona. If they use this right, it's
If they just
fantastic.
follow, I think if they just follow Bray Wyatt's creative thing.
But that's the thing. I think at some point, yeah, they just get in their own thing of like, they can't let the talent totally steer their ship. And I think that kind of gets in the way a little bit.
Right.
I don't think they should have had Goldberg beat him for that title. That was a mistake.
Absolutely.
That was the first time.
Yeah, because like everyone knows, like Goldberg was unstoppable, but it's not fucking 2000. It's not 90 late 90s.
That's what I mean. Like, you want
early
to build
2000s.
these new stars, right? And you made him lose to Goldberg, and it was like, dude,
Yeah, I understand Goldberg's a tough guy. He is tough as he's a.
he's
tough
but you should have made the
But
Fiend build
you
him and
should
make
have
him
pushed
look
the
like a
Fiend,
monster.
'cause that's just what you should do for younger talents.
Dude, they had Rollins basically kill him at a pay per view at what was that? The Halloween one. They did the Cell thing, which they stopped, which that was stupid.
Yeah,
But then they did the one afterwards, and that's where the Fiend actually won the title from him.
Right.
And they they literally Rollins curb stomped him like 30 times on the the Titantron. He just kept stomping his head in,
Yeah.
and then he just like came up behind the speakers and just like mandible clawed him, and like that was the end of the match. And I was like, so you have that, but then you have Goldberg beat him with like 2 spears and you know what I mean, like a jackhammer that barely hit. And I was like, it doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah, he's
Like-
been out of the ring for so long. Like nothing. No
That should have been your platform to
No,
catapult
no
him.
disrespect to like Goldberg.
Yeah,
what
no,
he's done.
at all.
But like the Fiend, you're building this guy,
Right.
And then like coming by and there's like, okay, well Goldberg would be a real good test for the Fiend. Like anybody could see that because fucking Goldberg.
That's what you use legends for that have already used.
Yeah, especially-
Not that they use them for,
especially-
but like if you want to come back and wrestle, like you might need to lose to a younger talent that they want to elevate.
Right, especially somebody like as dominant as was
The
Goldberg.
Fiend has been up to that point.
Yeah, well, as dominant as Goldberg was
Oh,
up to a
well,
point.
God, yeah.
Like, you still like I wouldn't go fucking pick a fight with Goldberg. I'm not
Fuck no, I'm
like
not stupid.
I'm not dumb, but I'm not stupid.
He could fuck me with one punch. I'd know.
Right?
I'd be done.
Like I pay him to fucking spear me.
yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, the fact that should have been your project, and they were talking about how they can't build big stars like they used to, and I'm like, that was one of them.
Yeah.
Like the Fiend persona was like a full circle of Wyatt, and like that was a perfect thing.
We circled back in the fans.
He puts, it was.
like
Then
kids
they-
can be scared. Like they're good. It's good for them.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Right?
It was.
The Dead Man scared all those kids when he first came out too. I watched the fucking
The Fiend did the same thing.
Yeah,
It
scared
was-
the piss out of him.
Dude, he
That's
was
fun.
carrying a head.
Right? Yeah, his
Like-
own face.
It's,
Like, yeah, obviously you should have came up with. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So I
100%.
just think that was a missed opportunity, and then from then on, then they just kind of, I don't know, shit the bed with the Fiend a little bit here and there, and then I did not expect him to get released, like, that far out.
Right.
Like last summer when they got released, that was not the talent I expected to
Right.
cut it out.